Good afternoon, and welcome to the official Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms stream. My name is Dylan, and it looks like I failed to update this overlay with the stream code, so I'll have to do that during the stream in a minute. But before we get underway, I would like to thank Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons & Dragons for hosting us on the official D&D Twitch. Yeah, we have a special guest. Holly Conrad is joining us from her hotel room at PAX East. Yeah, so... I'm just going to skip right to that because who cares what I think. So, welcome.
I do. Hello.
So tell us a little bit about what's gonna happen at PAX East, actually, because I think you're on stage in a couple hours.
Yes, welcome to my hotel room. So in a couple hours, I'm going to be on the Acquisitions Inc. stage with the whole crew, and it's going to be a battle royale kind of thing, and Mike is DMing, and I'm going to be very bad at it. So you can watch it on stream, or you can watch it live if you're here. It's going to be fun.
Sweet. I haven't actually watched. I haven't watched him DM much because I always see Jerry doing it.
Yes, no, Mike's really good. We did a game at PAX Australia that was like a Star Wars game, and he did an awesome job. Like, it was really, really fun. So okay. I'm excited because he is really good at like gamifying things, so it'll be interesting.
Huh. I'm sorry. I'm also trying to figure out why this overlay stopped working as soon as I hit.
I understand. Go. Is it? It's that streaming life.
Yeah, it's.
But yeah.
XSplit. Boo. I mean, XSplit. Yay. So if I can't figure this out during the thing, I'll reveal it later. But at least our names are still there. But it should be right there in the top corner, and it's just like totally invisible now. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, you were saying it's like a battle royale?
Yeah, it's like a fight. We're like fighting. Strix is fighting Omen, Viari, and Morgaine, and we're all fighting each other.
Okay. Just for one free for all kind of match.
Yeah, I guess. It's like. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. So I don't know. I don't think it's like canon. I think it's just like an outside of canon like adventure. So maybe it is canon. I don't know. We'll see. But it should be fun.
Huh. Cool.
Yeah.
So like when you're doing something like this, like you've gone across the country to be on stage at PAX. Like how do you get ready to be on stage playing D&D? What's that like?
I'm just always nervous, so it's just nervous. I don't think my nervousness ever changes that much. Usually I might have some tea. I was gonna drink some coffee before this. I had a piece of cold pizza, so I'm ready to go.
Coffee and cold pizza.
Yep, and I was thinking about what outfit I should wear, and I was like, I don't know what I feel like wearing, so I might like debate that for like 10 minutes. I don't know.
Fair.
Very intense.
So I'm sure everybody knows by now, but in case they don't, your character Strix is available in game and is currently fighting a were-rat leader in the background.
Yes.
You are the second non Wizards of the Coast character to join our game. And the first one in quite a long time, actually, because we had Joe Manganiello's Archon at the launch, but we've been eagerly trying to get this.
He's evil, right? He's an evil character.
Yeah, lawful evil, chaotic evil, something. I'm sure I could. Pull it up
so
in the game
Strix
right
is
now.
The first chaotic good,
neutral evil.
Coast character.
Yeah, whereas
Neutral
you're chaotic
evil.
good. Yeah, but it's it's funny because we had the artists on a couple weeks ago talking about the process of creating Strix, but like maybe you could give us some insight into what it was like on your end, because you were, you got to be one of the parts of the approval process for us as we were getting this done.
Yeah, no, and it was really funny because it was like I would just give you like things and be like, yeah, it's this and this, and then you guys would just send me like amazing art and all this amazing stuff and be like, it's great. Like, I think the only thing I ever commented on was like, I think her skin color is a little bit more like deathly looking. That was like it.
Oh yeah. Alexis said something about that. The plain touched color versus the 5e tiefling color, I think. Something like that.
Yeah. She's more, Well, yeah, she would be technically she would be a plain touched tiefling, but kind of technically not. Oh, it's confusing. But yeah, so she looks more like the second edition tieflings, which are the ones that like the Dieter Lizzie art and stuff like that. That she's much more inspired by those, which are the ones that I grew up with.
Now, is that because you created Strix back when you were playing older editions of D&D, or is it just because that's where you took your inspiration from?
I've always played a tiefling sorcerer. So I've played very different iterations of Strix over the years, like ever since I was in high school and college. But mostly they were just tiefling sorcerers based off of like Neverwinter Nights and Baldur's Gate characters. Okay, that's where I started playing D&D because of Baldur's Gate. I actually played Baldur's Gate first and played the video game first before I actually got into playing the tabletop game. So all of my like beginner knowledge of D&D came from all those games.
Well, that's a really good place to start, because they are surprisingly jam-packed with facts and lore and all kinds of stuff. And you pick it up as you play through it. Like I learned more about different names of medieval things just from playing video games than I ever did from intentionally. So yeah. Cool. So Dice Camera Action is hitting 88 episodes, 89 episodes, pretty quick here. Like,
we're at 88. We have 2 left we have 88 and 89, I think, and then 90 is going to be our next season. So,
ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what's coming up, or do you just get to join everybody else for the ride every week? We kind of have an idea of where we're going, like a little bit, but everything that happens is so chaotic. Like, we don't really know what's gonna happen. So, yeah. So it could, I kind of have an idea of like where we might be going in the future, but like it could totally be something different. Okay. Like, so I guess on that note, like, what has surprised you so far?
Oh my God. I mean, other than everything that Chris ever does to us. I was actually surprised and so incredibly delighted that Chris brought in some Planescape stuff into Strix's backstory. Mm-hmm. When we had our PAX Unplugged game and the Mercy Killer came, I feel like that was like one of the most, and he explained Sigil. I had actually never had anyone DM Sigil for me. I only read the books as a kid. I'd only read them and just like obsessed over them since I was like in high school. And so to actually have him like DM, like seeing Sigil and having the Mercy Killers come, like that was like the coolest thing I could ever have happen. So that was super rad.
That's good.
And surprising. It was very surprising because I didn't expect it. I thought we would just be doing like whichever adventure they had come up with. But then he's been throwing in these little bits to add in.
Of course he has.
Yes.
Because he knows all of that stuff off the top of his head because he wrote a lot of it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because I was watching, somebody was asking me last week on stream about, just about like, who's your favorite DM to watch? Is it like Chris Perkins or is it Matt Mercer or whatever? And I can't pick a favorite because everybody is so ingenious in their own ways that like there's always something that you can take and you can enjoy. But then I talked about the Acquisitions Inc. game from, I want to say PAX West this year, the one where
PAX
Chris
South.
Was it PAX South?
PAX South, yes.
Where Chris took them through something that like made my brain melt and probably everybody else's at the same time. I was just never seen anything like it. You
know, he came up with that a half an hour before he went on stage.
That just makes me mad. That's like those people who put no effort into things and then they do way better than you. It's like,
I know. I was just like, Chris, how?
Oh man.
I know that is like, I think one of our PAX Unplugged game with the Mercy Killer and that game, I think, are two of my most favorite D&D games to ever be in and or watch, I think.
Yeah, it was just, and it's one of those things because, like, I mean, we all have like our friends who DM, and like we've all DM'd at different times, and you think about like what you come up with on the fly, what you improvise to make something memorable. Yeah. But it's never that good. Compared, like you're just like, come on. Like that's one of those things where like if I sat and thought for a few hours, I probably wouldn't come up with something on the fly as awesome as what he dreamed up in the 30 minutes leading up to stepping out on stage and just improvising for 3 hours.
I know. So. Well, it's like I've been DMing a show too, and like my biggest inspiration is Chris. So like I'm trying. I try to be good, but I'm just like, I'm never gonna be as good as Chris. I just have to be inspired. Like, but then when I do something that like is like something that Chris would do, the chat is like, who hurt you? Like they're like, oh. they're like, she's been in his game too long. Yeah. It's so funny.
Who hurt you? That just makes me think of that crying from one eye thing the other day.
Oh my, yes, yeah, that's a perfect example.
Made me almost cry laughing because it was so harsh.
Yeah, that's what we've learned from him.
Half cry, that's what it was.
That's what we've learned from him. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So just on the note of DMs and DM inspiration, Trapped in the Birdcage, you are DMing every week.
Yes. Yeah, I am. Usually I would be DMing today, but I'm at PAX, so today I am just here, and then I'm going off to play another D&D game.
So, like, because I was watching the first few episodes, and I was just kind of, it was one of those things where I'm like, this is such a motley crew. Like, how did you come up with this cast for this show, and how did they come up with those characters?
Well, I wanted a lot of new players. Mm-hmm. And I wanted a couple people who had played before. So, and they're also all really good friends of mine. So, Hadil and Jimmy are both really good friends of mine that do different things. Like Jimmy does YouTube, and Hadil does all kinds of things, and does a lot of esports stuff. So I wanted people that they'd never played before. So they were completely new. So I wanted people that were totally new, had never played before, had never, really just, I wanted people to know that, like, you can just jump into a game and not have to be afraid. Like, and it's okay to ask questions. It's okay to not, to not be afraid of doing it. And then, of course, Anna's in my other game, Anna Dice Game Reaction, and she wanted to be a part of it early on. So I was like, okay, Anna, of course. And then my friend Chad is a writer. He wrote Troll Hunters. And he's written a lot of things like television shows. And so I knew he would be perfect because he's a writer. So I was like, okay, Chad, like, you're going to come. He's played like a couple times. So I was like, all right, you're going to come in and like kind of like help steer them. And then so Chad was like, okay, I'm going to help like steer them in the right direction. And then Anna played a totally chaotic character that just like steals everything. And I was like, oh no. So it's been entertaining.
Yeah, she established probably, I think, in the opening scene with her, where like as soon as they're in that darkened spot, and she's like, and I pickpocket him. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. That's where this is going.
Yeah, I was like, all right, cool, great. Yeah, but it's been fun because I've been trying to use the the things I've learned from Chris, which is like freak them out psychologically. So the last episode, I'm really proud of the last episode. Like, it was I scared him real bad, so it was good.
Oh, okay, I still have to watch that one. I'm about 1 or 2 weeks behind, so I'm excited.
Scared him real bad.
Good. I was actually worried probably in the first or second episode when they started lighting everything on fire. I'm like, good Lord, how long are they going to last? Or are they just going to blow themselves up accidentally? So. Well,
I know. I mean, and also, like, I have to kind of, like, as the DM, be like, oh, Jesus, like, the Lady of Pain's going to show up if you start setting things on fire and Sigil. So I have to make sure that they're not causing too much of a ruckus.
Yeah, and you don't mess with the Lady of Pain, so.
No, though I could imagine that they will at some point and someone's going to die, but, that's them.
Well,
that's their problem.
That's the lesson that the party has to learn. You gotta respect the occasional boundaries that do show up in your games. So.
Yep, and that is the one in my Planescape game is the Lady of Pain. That's my one boundary.
Yeah, well, I mean, what could they do anyways? I mean, it's the Lady of Pain.
Cry. They could cry.
That might do something.
No, it won't do anything.
Somebody in the chat was asking if you have any idea when today's Acquisitions Incorporated game is going to be uploaded, because they can't make it to PAX this time. But I know.
Well, it'll be.
The D&D Twitch is going to be broadcasting it, though, aren't they? I think today.
Yes, yeah. It's going to be streamed. It's going to be streamed right here.
Yes.
Right here.
Yeah.
At D&D. So you don't have to miss it at all. It'll be right here. You'll see me move from here, from my hotel room, into a different outfit, which will take me too long to choose, and then onto the Acquisitions Incorporated stage, just like that.
And then it'll be happening. Yeah, because that's 3.5 hours, 4 hours from now, gish, give or take.
Yeah, it starts at 8. So when I put on my Twitter, it starts at 9. I was wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm like, wait, no, 8. No, that's Eastern Pacific. It's 5 o'clock.
I know. I was very. I was very confused as to what time it was when I wrote that, so it's okay.
It's all good. You travel across the country. That always happens. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, I think it's interesting and amazingly of note that Strix hasn't just been on Dice Camera Action, but has also been on Acquisitions Incorporated in probably one of the most unique ways I've ever seen for a character to show up on more than one show. Who came up with that?
Yeah, getting some. Chris, I think Chris did.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so that was when I had first started finding. In fact, that was the first time I think I heard her family's name, the Skiziks, which I didn't know at all. So because I gave her no backstory, she was just from the Hive and Sigil, and I was like, sure, Chris, you do whatever you want. And so he came up with this whole insane backstory thing, which we're just figuring out, and is just horrifically traumatic but amazing. And so that contract is apparently an ancient contract for that family that you can just, summon their most powerful member. But the funniest thing is that Omen bought it for like 10 gold or something, or 9 and some change. And he like owns her soul.
Yeah, that made me laugh. That was really funny.
Yeah, oh, it was so funny.
You get the cartoon intro at the beginning of some of the Acquisitions Incorporated episodes, and it goes over those things, and I was just watching that part, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
It was good. It was funny. It was a good jab at the same time, you're like, like you're worth $10.
I know.
Basically.
And if you go on the Acquisition Incorporated website, they have like their employee roster, and on Strix's it says like, it just says this funny thing about how like he bought the contract for cheap and like didn't pass up a deal and stuff. Bargain basement prices is what it said.
Bargain basement? Oh wow. That's hilarious.
It's great. It's perfect for a trash witch, right?
Seems fitting.
Yeah. I also was on C Team too, and they did the same thing. Omen summoned Strix to the C Team to help them.
I did catch that episode. That was good. Yeah, because you were already bleeding when you showed up.
Yeah, I was dead. I showed up with 1 death save.
Yeah.
So they just summoned. They were like, he's sending help, and she just shows up dead.
Yeah, if anything, that just made it funnier. It was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
It's true.
Yeah. And you like, so for when you're doing these, like, do you plan those really far in advance? Because you're obviously you're up in the Pacific Northwest to film those ones.
Yeah, usually like if I'm going up there, like I'm always up there for something, like whether it's like I think I was up there for the World Builders like charity dinner.
Okay.
So I was already going up there, and I just messaged them. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be up there. Like if you want me to come a day early and do C Team, like I'll totally do it. So then we just plan it, and then we plan it so that Strix disappears from Dice Camera Action, and then she reappears at C Team and then comes back in the next episode of Dice Camera Action. So Chris and Jerry like talk about it, how they're gonna do that, and keep it a mystery to me.
That makes sense. That explains why Chris Perkins was laughing as he said, "Tell Jerry that you've already failed a bunch of death saves" or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I was
then
like,
they discuss it.
Oh, that's funny. So on that note, I mean, what is it like having possibly the most intimidating possible person to be your DM all the time? Like,
he's not like, it's like he's not intimidating. Like I feel like at this point it's like we're all just telling this story together. Like it's more like the most intimidating thing is just like is if people like the story that we're telling, it's just like oh, I hope I like role played that part right, or I hope like this part was good. But like, I mean, yeah, I know Chris is going to throw like horrific things at us, but it's like playing a horror game. How like you want to keep playing the game, you want to keep getting scared.
Yeah.
It's just it's gonna happen. You're just like waiting for it. So I don't know, it's awesome. It's honestly been like one of the coolest like experiences of my life. So I've loved every minute of it.
Awesome. I have nothing to add to that. That sounds amazing. And jealous, and we just get to watch it every week and maybe get emotional at some of the ridiculous stuff that happens. That is just... Yes,
and sometimes I like actually cry. So...
Oh, it's not fake crying. It's not acting.
No, I can't act. I can't act at all. I just like actually like emotionally like care about my friends, and then I feel like emotionally overwhelmed by it and like get in this mindset of Strix, and I actually get sad. It's weird.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's acting.
I can never tell.
Acting.
All right.
I'm not an actor at all. Like I can role play, but I can't act. I don't know if there's a difference.
It never
It's
occurred
weird.
to me that there might be a distinction. So
I think there is. Like I don't know. I don't think I could ever act. Like, but I can definitely role play a character that I'm emotionally connected to. I think that's it.
Tell me about that emotional connection to Strix.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Strix is obviously we make our characters different from us, but like when I feel like for this game, I put a lot of myself into this character, especially like when it comes to her anxiety and stuff. She's kind of like an embodiment of a lot of the anxiety that I've fought through my life. So she's really anxious and really not really that mentally healthy. Like, so she's kind of like I said, like an earlier version of myself before I like really got a lot of like mental health help. So it's an interesting idea that you can play a character that is actually like someone that is anxious, someone that has a lot of fears that are not necessarily rational, but is still a hero and can still, succeed and help her friends.
And like, so does that make it easier to just draw from experience to role play, I guess?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So she does most things that like I would do because she's a good aligned character. That's why I have a really hard time playing evil aligned characters because it's stressful for me. But she also like I have to think like, okay, well she has all these like she does things that are dumb and irrational. Like people were complaining that she threw the egg bomb in this one episode through a portal. Like it's gone now. Like they're like that was a terrible idea, and I was like, yeah, well, she panicked. She has these manic moments of panic where she just all she can do is think about saving her friends, and it might not be the smartest thing to do, but it's something that she would do as a person and as a character with this like manic anxiety. She just wants to solve the problem. It's not she doesn't think it through at all. And so it's kind of especially recently she's been, she's made a lot of mistakes recently with her fireball and her magic and things like that. And like it's not intentional. It's because she is just using the most magic she can to help as much as she can, even if and she doesn't think about the consequences. It's very like, no, it needs to help right now. And that's like, obviously, and that's something that I don't have in common with Strix is I try to think about those irrational things that she does versus like something where you would actually think it through.
Yeah. Huh. It's it makes for extremely entertaining viewing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're very suboptimal, as Chris always says. I feel like all of our characters have these flaws that make them, not very good at the game necessarily, but they're good as characters.
I think that's one of those things, though, that the more you play D&D, the more you appreciate it, because when it's hard to when you first start playing. Avoid the tendency to be like, I want to win at this in some way, and I want to like make this character the best fighter to ever fight, and you min-max your stats or whatever. But that you have so much more fun when you're, when your DM makes you roll random traits, and then like, oh, I guess I'm also a narcissist, so then you have to do that or whatever.
Yeah, Chris loves doing that stuff to us. Like making us so like you've taken a dark gift, or you now have clones, or you now. I was just like, no.
Yeah, I was not expecting all the clone related stuff in the last episode. I was like, what? Because I've only been watching for the last 4 months, maybe, so 3 months.
Oh yeah, yeah. Strix accidentally gave some of everyone's hair to some hags. It was a long story, but regardless, there was clones, and that last episode was hilarious. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. But again, being evil stressed me out. So.
Oh yeah. Because you were hoping to fail death saves or something. You said.
Yeah, I was like, just let this character die. I don't want to be evil.
Huh. So I guess one of the questions that I always ask everybody is like, first, like, where did your D&D story start? And like, so not just like when you first heard about it, but like when did you know you're like, I love this, I'm gonna keep doing this? When was that?
Yeah, I think honestly, like, I mean, again, I loved Baldur's Gate. I loved Baldur's Gate 2. I played those games nonstop in high school, and I mean that was when I fell in love with the Forgotten Realms, and so I ended up reading all the Forgotten Realms books that I could get my hands on, like reading all about the Drow and reading all about Waterdeep, and like I loved the lore. Like I always tell everyone, for me it was like my Star Wars, like that was the world that I like entrenched myself in, like when I was young, was Forgotten Realms. So I really enjoyed that a lot. And then I think like when I was in high school, I played a few games with friends, but I didn't really get hooked into D&D until I was in college, and I played some more games with friends, but like mostly, honestly, like my tabletop experience was way less than my online experience. Like I played a lot of Neverwinter Nights online, like when they used to have the servers, and I did a lot of role play in those, and that was super, super fun. So like really my role playing started in like those old school like role play forums and like Neverwinter Nights online, like all those like all those online places until I could actually play D&D in college.
Okay.
So that was really how I fell in love with writing and role playing, was playing online.
Huh. Cool. All I played was World of Warcraft for a very long time.
I played that too, yeah. I went to college, but I really just went to play World of Warcraft.
Yeah. So many hours.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about how many days played I have in that game, or months. Measured better in months at this point.
Yeah.
One of the people in the chat was asking if today is going to be an A team or a C team episode.
This is an A team episode. Yes. So it's going to be myself, Viari, Morgaine, who Strix has never met before, which is going to be fun, and Omen with Mike. So with Jim DMing. Sweet.
And then another person, Izzy Bud, wants to know how you're enjoying Boston.
It's very cold. I have a low cold tolerance, so I've already felt very cold. But no, I love Boston. I'm actually, after PAX, I'm going to be hanging out with one of my best friends growing up here, and we're gonna do like some writing on a book we've been working on since we were like little kids. So we're gonna go do some writing and go to Salem and go do some fun touristy things, and I'm very excited.
Oh, awesome! That sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I love coming here for PAX, but it's like usually I only get to see a hotel and the convention center, so I'm gonna have some fun outside of that this time.
Yeah, fair enough. A giant dwarf wants to know what components you need to properly cast Summon Strix.
Summon Strix. Apparently, you just need that infernal contract. That's it. I mean, really though, if you wanted to like, if I were to make it up, it would just be like a really nice pie, and like some chalk runes around the pie, and maybe some like chicken feathers. Then that would work. Make it apple pie. It has to be an apple pie.
Fair enough. So I guess on the note of going to college and learning to play video games,
yes.
What is it that keeps you passionate about continuing to do this, to play D&D, and to what are you looking forward to with it?
I think I for one thing, I love storytelling. Like in any kind of form, I love storytelling, and I love the idea that we can relate to characters and situations and have these, have them improve our lives or give some insight into our lives, or give some sort of comfort to our lives. Like that's always made me really happy, because that's what I loved growing up, because I had a pretty rough childhood. So being able to escape into D&D and into fantasy worlds and things like that and relate to characters really resonated with me. So when people resonate with Strix and maybe her anxiety or things that she does, but she's still a hero, like that makes me super, super happy. So that's one of the reasons. And, more so it's it's again, like the same sort of thing. Like if D&D can start being used for so much more than just entertainment, it can be used to explore mental health issues. It can be used to help with mental health issues. It can be used to, make friends and become more social and just allow yourself to be more comfortable being yourself. And I think it's honestly done that for me as well. It's playing Strix has made me more comfortable being myself. And it's kind of interesting how that becomes like a symbiotic relationship when you play in these other worlds.
Awesome.
Yeah, so just helping people, telling stories, telling people that it's okay to be flawed, because we're all beautiful inside.
And we're all flawed, that's for sure.
We're all but that makes us better. I think if your character is perfect, you're not interesting. You're not not an interesting person if you don't have flaws, or you're lying. If you say you don't have flaws, you're definitely lying.
Yeah, if they say that they have none, they're probably a narcissist.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned the flaws thing, though. It's because the more I play D&D, the more I like having different flaws for my characters.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like the first time you play, you're going to play like whoever your ideal of a hero or whatever is, most likely. But then you play a few more games and you're like, okay, well, this guy's afraid of whatever. And like, I mean, you know, I'm playing in 2 different games right now, and in one of them the character is crazy emo, which is very not me, but it's fun, if a bit of a pain in the butt to play, because it's consistently just a dick, that guy. But it's interesting because you get to explore these personality quirks that you might not have, and it forces you to put yourself in those shoes.
Totally.
And you're role playing, or you're doing your best approximation of role playing a character that does these things, which is it's different. It's not something that I'm used to personally, but it's really crazy to watch people do it.
Yeah, it's an exercise in putting yourself in other people's shoes and feeling empathy for people in different situations, and it's like that too. Using a different, like some kind of different, I guess, like personality trait that you don't have an experience with is just as interesting as using one that maybe you need to work through yourself, like anxiety, for example, with Strix. So it's like there's just so much opportunity to do those sort of mental exercises that are way beneficial to us as human beings and the human experience.
I think there was an article in The Guardian a few weeks ago talking about how people are using it to better understand, like in a very similar way, like just taking this literally off the page and doing it, like forcing students to understand what it's like to be refugees in a camp, and like they have to role play that setting, and just trying to get people to understand and be a little bit more empathetic, which was pretty neat to read about, because it never occurred to me that it could be used in a classroom setting, but apparently it can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. One of my friends was telling me recently that there was another role-playing game that had that was, because I studied medieval history in college. That's what my degree is in, which is ironic because I was like, I'm never going to use this, and I'm like, haha, D&D. But there's apparently a role-playing game out there about the Cathars, which was a heretic sect in, I believe it was Italy. But like it's just playing a part of history. Like it's literally you're just playing these heretics from history and going through that history lesson. I was like, man, I studied those in college. I wish I could have like played this game, and like because that would have taught you so much more than just handing someone a book. It's like having you actually go through this experience. It would have been amazing. So I was like, you could use it for educational purposes too.
Being engaged, yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Huh. Yeah, it's well, you know, when I start having kids someday, I'm gonna force them to play D&D, and they will totally love it and learn lots of things. All right, we're gonna go through like the Spanish Inquisition, and then I'll play the Monty Python sketch. Yeah,
it's like uh-oh, the Inquisitor's at the door. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Let's talk about that Strix costume, which is so detailed. Where do all those ideas even come from, let alone all the stuff? Like it's just it's so elaborate, and now we were able to create a crazy amount of art out of it, like all the different items for the pile of garbage.
Super high quality garbage is probably my favorite item.
Yeah, but they're like all these things are in your stuff, like you have it.
Yeah, so originally Strix's costume was much simpler. And if you look at our earlier game at TwitchCon, you can see my first rendition of Strix's costume, and it was very much more like she was just from Sigil, like just had escaped, was still very poor, had rags everywhere, and then we had an incident happen where everyone died in our party, and she was stuck in Barovia for 50 years by herself, bathing in goat's blood to stay young. Good times, as one does. Yep. That was another Chris Perkins improvised amazing, like yet horrifying instance. So she was stuck there for 50 years, and afterwards, and she lost all of her items. All of her items were gone because she threw them at Strahd when she was trying to get him to go away. She threw everything on her at Strahd, and then threw herself bodily at Strahd and knocked him off his horse. One of her finer moments. But yeah, so she lost all her items, and then Chris sent me a list saying, okay, these are the items that she collected during her 50 years in Barovia. And I was like, okay, cool. And I had already known that I was going to be doing the AI game on stage.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like I want a badass costume for this. And I know I come from a cosplay background. I don't do it so much anymore, and I also came from a special effects background. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go all out on this costume and make it like as historically cool as I can. So I learned how to wet felt. I learned how to make witch hats. I learned how to make like wet felt my own like hats. I learned how to make like all kinds of leatherwork stuff. I found like the actual bottles and things on the costumes are all actual antiques. So I like went and found like on eBay like antique vials and things like that look like they were really from like one of them actually is from the Victorian ages. I have the vial of ghostly ectoplasm or whatever it is actually is a perfume vial from the 1800s that I found. So I have like, and some old scissors from like the 1800s. So all the stuff on the costume is actually really old, except for the things I made, of course. So I wanted to go all out. So I had a good time.
Wow. Yeah, there was I don't know how many people here have seen it already, but if they haven't, and they're not going to be at a PAX event or another event where you're wearing it, there's a D&D Beyond video where you talk about it.
Yes.
That has a lot. You can see a lot of it because I know our artists were watching it over and over again and like getting just as much reference as they could to get a look at it.
Yeah, they did an awesome job, and yeah, that's probably the best like turnaround of the whole costume. I always forget to get pictures of my costumes. I just like whatever. So that video that Todd did, the D&D Beyond, was probably like the best pictures of my costume I'll get. Hey,
it's a video. I mean, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then I don't know.
That
8
is true.
8 to 10 minutes of video is like how many novels? So
yeah, there you go. There you go. But yeah, I really, that costume was just, I knew I was going to do the stage show, which is why I made it. And I just kind of wanted to challenge myself and just do some really cool, like historically accurate, like things like learning how to wet felt and make hats and do all that kind of stuff.
And use your degree, I imagine, in some ways to get some authenticity in there.
Exactly. Funny story about my degree is I've actually used it in our game before to like get away with stuff, and Chris has let me. Chris has let me get away with it. Because one time I put some saint's ashes into a bottle and was like, drink this to Dieth, our rogue. And it cured him of his curse. Because I was like, that's right. Those reliquary ashes, they were worth a lot in the Middle Ages.
We have a few other questions from some fans here, actually. I don't know. Let's see. Darkfire Savior wants to know. Okay, question for Holly. I find Strix rather inspiring. How do you feel about creating what many consider an iconic character? Also, I hope you don't mind me using her as an NPC.
Oh yeah, please always use her as an NPC, just to make her scream a lot. You guys, I trust you guys. But no, I don't know if I think like, I don't know, in D&D, whoever your character is iconic to you, and that's the thing that matters the most. Like Strix will always be I feel like she's like my D&D character. She's iconic to me. Like she's like a family member at this point. But it's like I don't know, like I would love to see her hang out with Minsk. Like I think they'd be best friends. So if she was iconic, you know, that would be pretty sweet.
Sorry, Delana, get out of here.
Exactly, yeah. She could be Minsk's witch. like from Baldur's Gate.
Let's see, we have another one from Goddammit Y, who asks, cool. Hi, I just wanted to let you know that you have repeatedly made several Spaniards cry on their bathroom floor for several days. Thank you for that.
Oh, God. That's a terrible image. I'm sorry. It's not just me. If you're talking about dice camera action, it's all of us. I would not be able to have like as emotional of times if I didn't have amazing friends and an amazing DM. So it is definitely a group effort. So it's all of us making you cry.
Let's see. Mystery Block Gaming. What, if anything, do you, Holly, have to say about the Awful Crew that you haven't had a chance to say during DCA? Because I agree with you saying I can't handle this kind of evil, and wanted to know if you have anything else to say.
I know I hate playing evil characters, and like that's also it made me like genuinely sad because I thought about the evil Strix idea for a while, like, you know, when you're like in the shower and you're just like having those like deep thoughts with yourself. I was just like, what would happen if Strix didn't have her like her friends to make her a better person? Like, what would happen if she had experienced all this horrible trauma in Sigil as a child, and then didn't have like Dieth to show her kindness, or Evelyn to show her light, or Paulton to show her joy. And then I just went to this really dark place, and I was like, this is sad. So like, she's just this feral person who has this power, and that's all she cares about, is just gaining power and just being, you know, her magic is the only thing she cares about. She doesn't care about anyone else, doesn't care about herself, just gaining power. And I was like, ugh, I hate this. I just want her to die. So it just made me sad. Like because we do so much character development and like, you know, interpersonal like relationship development with our characters, that like to imagine her without her friends was just really depressing.
Yeah. Well, any of us without our friends.
Exactly. So it's just depressing, and like all of us being mean to each other. And though I had to say that Nate's evil Paulton was hilarious, because he was just like being mean to wait staff, which was great.
The part
I was
where
like, that is the most evil.
Describing his outfit, and then was like, "Are you describing Strahd?" I was like, "Yeah, that was."
He was looking at the picture. He was looking at a picture of Strahd.
That was so funny. Oh man.
Yeah, it was a very funny episode, even though I hated being evil. It was super funny. So, and I loved having Chris as a player. Like, having Chris as a player is always a delight.
Let's see, we have a few more here for you. Let's see, Sweet Rad. How would you react if you got asked to guest star on Critical Role? I want to see Strix interact with Knot and Jester.
I mean, I would always love to, of course. I don't think I'm cool enough. But I think Strix would just heck up a group of such beautiful people. She would just get in there and be like, "I'm just a trash person. Goodbye."
Just turn around and leave.
I know that Jester likes pastries though, so I feel like she would be good friends with Jester at least.
Yeah, the bacon.
Oh, and I do love Knot and Caleb. I love Knot and Caleb. They're amazing characters, and Caleb being a trash wizard would probably get along well with Strix as a trash witch. So maybe one day it'll happen. I would love to, but like I said, Strix for now, her contract is still owned by Omen. No one else at this moment can summon her.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so this is an interesting one from Dokuabi. Dokuabi? I don't know. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. What are your opinions on playing the same characters in separate campaigns instead of new ones and just evolving who they are?
Oh, instead of rolling new characters for different campaigns?
I think that's what they mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You're playing different iterations, I guess.
Right. I think it's totally up to you. Like, if you really like a character and you want to keep playing that character over and over again, like, I mean, go for it. It's personal preference. Like, I've made tons of different characters for different campaigns. Like, I have my campaign with Game Grumps. I play a druid, a tiefling druid named Alba, and and even like my NPCs that I make for like in the birdcage, like I still get attached to. So I think it's like just depends. Like the idea with Strix going across like Perkins' universe is why I think it works for Strix, because obviously Chris is a DM for different groups, but they're all in the same universe.
Yeah.
So it works like that for Strix, but if it was just like into another game, like for example, if I guessed it on Critical Role and it's not in the same universe, or they decided that, like, I could easily roll up a new character and play something there instead of playing Strix. But I think it just depends on the DM discretion and if the player enjoys it or not.
Huh. It's interesting talking about attachment to characters, because I find that every time you experience something memorable with one of your characters, you start to remember them in a way that is beyond like you don't remember sitting at a table and looking at a character sheet and talking about it. You remember it
No.
like the memories you've created with that character and with who you were playing with. And it's such a thing that's unique to D&D that you don't get from video games or from a lot of other stuff. It's quite something.
And there's a scientific reason behind that. It's because our animal brain, like our subconscious, can't distinguish the difference between imagined thoughts being real and real thoughts being real. So while you're playing and having those things in your mind and you're imagining those, your animal brain actually thinks that you're experiencing that. Like the absolute base version of our subconscious. So it's almost actually like that you experience it at its basis, like at base level, you do experience it in some sense in your subconscious. So it makes sense because it's like a lot of it seems like you don't think about sitting at a table. When I think about, like, for example, at like PAX Unplugged, Chris describing that Mercy Killer coming in through the portal, I see that in my mind.
Yeah.
It's like I don't see him describing it. I see that happening. Like, and it's like I see that happening as if I'm standing there seeing it happening. But of course I wasn't there, but I've imagined this whole scene in my mind as it happened. And the emotions of being afraid in that moment aren't coming from sitting at that table. It's coming from imagining that. It's weird. Yeah, it's definitely weird.
Yeah, it's just it struck me a while ago just thinking about how, like, every time I think about playing D&D with my friends, you don't say, remember that time I was playing D&D and you were DMing and we did, we were talking about this, this, and this. You say, you remember that time we, referring to you as the character, did whatever it is. Remember that time we, skipped that dungeon by making our rogue invisible and he stole everything and wasn't caught and then we just left. Stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Huh.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like this weird like in between state of imagination in real life, because you are in the real world, you are experiencing these things in the real world, but you're also imagining them at the same time and choosing to act on them. So you're in this weird like in between world.
That sounds like that could also be a book.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, some kind of in between something or other.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because I know you have to run pretty quick here. Is there anything you want to chat about before heading out?
I think so. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions. Like, I just let the chat out. We can have the chat ask a couple more before we go.
Yeah. So if you have any questions for Holly Conrad,
yeah. All I have to do is pick what outfit I'm going to wear on stage, and then I'm going to head out.
So the question shouldn't be, what are you going to wear?
No, don't ask me what I'm going to wear. I don't know. I have a pile of clothes. They're all black, so I mean, at least I don't have to choose that much.
Oh, that helps. That makes it easier.
Yeah.
I'm wearing all black.
It makes it easier.
Too, pretty much, except for the Hold There logo.
Right. Yeah, wearing all black makes everything easier.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, they're doing it. We're also doing a raffle, which is going to nuke the chat, so we won't even be able to see it.
Oh
no. Mystery Block Gaming wants to know where you find the stream that's going to be showing you at PAX tonight, which you should be able to hear, and then I imagine from the Penny Arcade stream as well. It's probably it's like a hosting.
Yeah, it'll be at twitch.tv/pennyarcade, and it'll also be hosted here at D&D, so it will be on soon, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can just leave it on.
Yeah. Thursdays are the days that you just leave your D&D channel.
Yeah, just leave it on.
Start right through. You start with us, obviously, because everybody loves video games. But then you get Waffle Talk and usually Trapped in a Birdcage and
except for today.
Whoever those guys are, I don't know. Never heard of them.
Yeah, I don't know. They're just too cool.
Yeah. Okay, so the Posh Panda asks, what foods would you include for a Waffle Crew cookbook?
Oh man, I mean, Strix would have like a million pastries. I feel like DF would have something like really boring, but yet like edible and practical. Paulton would just have mixed drinks.
That would be the drink menu. Section. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, just a cocktail menu, and Evelyn would just have breakfast foods because of the morning. Yeah.
That's funny. Back at you 00. When is the Strix novel coming out?
Oh man, Well, there will be some exciting Strix articles coming out soon, so I am excited for that because I am doing some fun things for D&D Beyond, which is really exciting.
That's exciting.
So I will be, yeah. So I'm going to be doing that pretty soon. So there will be some Strix supplementals coming out very shortly. So maybe not necessarily a novel, but definitely some exciting supplementals.
Oh, cool. I'm excited about that. I'd pry for more, but I imagine you're probably not allowed to spoil very much of it yet.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it. I'm just doing some stuff with D&D Beyond, and it's gonna be rad.
Cool. Oh, now the questions are flooding in. Let's see. Pretzel Mafia. I first got into D&D thanks to DCA. I want to be a character designer, so it surprised me when I realized that D&D could be so character driven, and now I am really into it, but I have not been able to play it yet. I eventually want to be a DM. Thanks for the inspiration, Holly. Oh, it's not a question.
Oh, yay.
It's just...
No, that was awesome, though. No, it's great. It's like, I felt the same way when I was playing Baldur's Gate. I didn't really understand the tabletop version until I actually did get to play it. And I was like, oh, wait, this is just as way I can play it in person, the same as Baldur's Gate. And they don't just have, like, written responses like an NPC.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about those old RPGs was just the dialogue options were always so good.
Oh, they're amazing. They're so good.
All right, let's see. GU Comics. After playing with Perkins as your DM, did it make you sincerely question your own DMing approach? Well,
yeah, I mean, yeah. I think, like, yeah, I didn't have that much experience as a DM. I DM'd a couple times before Dice Camera Action, but like very, very brief games, like in college, and one of them was an X-Men game, so like that didn't even count. But like, I think being in Chris's game has taught me a lot. So it's not so much as question as I just try to absorb as much as I can from his like techniques while also enjoying the game.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so this one, let's see. Straight Arrow. Would Holly consider playing a less hectic character in a different game? Someone more thoughtful and more collected than Strix? It's an odd question.
That's a fair observation, but no. I have played. If you watch on the Game Grumps channel, there's a show called Dragons in Places, where I play Alba, who is a tiefling druid who is very thoughtful and collected, and is a totally different character. So I've played quite a few different characters, but Strix is that way because she embodies my anxiety. She's an embodiment of anxiety, which is why she does those things. But she's getting better. Her friends have helped her slowly get better, so it's a slow burn.
And then I guess this is going to be the last one from Eli Darkheart. If someone perma-died in DCA, do you think they would re-roll or just bring in a new player?
I don't know. I think that would be up to the person that... I think that'd be up to the person that died, really. And ultimately, it's up to you as the person that plays the character. So I don't want to think about anyone perma-dying because that would make me sad and I would real cry again on camera, and no one wants that.
Well, that's the last of them. So I guess it's time to let you go. Let you get on with your evening. Actually, I was going to say your day, but I'm like, no, you're on the East Coast.
I don't know what time it is. I'm somewhere else, and it's very cold.
It's like it's like almost 5 o'clock. So.
Yep.
Yeah, and this frost giant's probably going to kill me anyway, so that's just embarrassing. Oh no, wait, no, it's going down. It's going down. No, I'm going to do it.
No,
Sweet.
no, you got it. You got it. You're fine. You're fine.
That's good. But anyways, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy travel and con schedule to join us today on stream. We appreciate it, and
of course.
We really, really have enjoyed working with you and in making Strix and having Strix in the game, and like all the artists put in a lot of extra work to try and make sure everything was as close as we could possibly do it.
No, it's amazing. All the extra stuff they did, like all the ult abilities with like waffles and stuff, is just amazing. Like I was even on my video, I was like, look, just unlock it. Like it's a treat. It's just a treat. So I don't want to spoil because there's so many, like the broom, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, yes. Thanks for sharing, and yeah, have an amazing show tonight. Yeah.
Thank you. I will probably not win this battle royale, but I will be hopefully hiding a lot. So wish me luck.
well, good luck. I know we're all rooting for you.
All right. Okay, you're still playing after this, right?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I have a not a huge list, but a list of questions and stuff to go through about game updates and things we messed up and stuff. Yeah, there might have been bugs at one point or another. I don't know. Seems unlikely, but but yeah, it'll be talking about all that stuff.
Nice. Well, thank you for having me. You guys are the best. And tell everyone the office hello, and thank you again. And I'm gonna go pick out my outfit to wear on stage.
No worries. All right. Well, have an awesome night.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye. Should I exit myself out? There we go.
I need to figure out why this thing's broken. Yeah. Oh, jeez. I don't know why. Oh, that was fun. I have no idea why the giveaway thing isn't showing up, because it's like here in the menu, it's there, but it's for some reason it's invisible. It makes no sense. So that's frustrating. Yeah, I updated it and everything. I double checked to make sure that it was there, and it was there. Yeah, it's there in my text file, so it's like it should be showing up. Maybe what I could do, since it's not showing up where it's supposed to for unknown reasons. Maybe. No, that didn't do it. God. So if anybody's an XSplit expert and can explain... Ha! Finally. Alright, there it is. We're only an hour in. I finally got that frickin' thing fixed. Bloody heck. So yeah. Now you can see the chest code. Yay! What are we giving away right now? We're giving away a thing. It's a thing. It's a Tyrell Force Grey DLC pack. So for all those fans of Dylan Sprouse's awesome druid from the second season of Critical Role, and also one of the best buffers in the game, you know, as long as you're not doing a Barrowin formation. Tyrell, also chests. So congrats in advance to whomever gets that one. I have a couple questions here, and I'm also just really uncomfortably sitting in this chair. Sorry, not from Critical Role. Force Grey. Did I say Critical Role? Sorry, I'm getting my shows mixed up. But yeah, Tyrell Force Grey DLC. So let's see. What are the questions I have in my backlog here? Let's see. Algorithms. Hello again, Dylan. A few suggestions. Gold per minute stat somewhere. Level box of characters as health bars. Yeah, I can pass that kind of stuff along. We're still not entirely certain on how we're going to add statistics to the game. I know it's something that we've talked about, and that that is we are pleasantly reminded of on a regular basis. But we don't have a thing yet. So when we do have a thing, we'll let you know. I don't know how many of you took part in the subreddit Q&A yesterday that we put together, but I think it was number 18. Let me just pull it up here. I'll get the link. But in the first part of that Q&A, we covered a few of the more commonly asked topics. I'm just going to link that in chat. And then like 7 or 8 seconds later, I'll say it in the feed, because the chat is so much faster than the feed. Anyways, there's a what we're working on section there that we can that I'm going to go over right now, but it also just it includes it's not an official roadmap, but it's the best that I can do right now in terms of letting people know what we're working on right now, what we're planning in the immediate future. So there's an offline gold gain update, an update to the offline gold gain system that will increase the amount of gold you earn while you're logged off, so that you don't feel like you're punished for shutting down the game. So that's coming. There is a tanking and healing update in the planning stages as well. It'll be a combat system overhaul to make tanking and healing specializations viable for deep progression as well. And so that one obviously is going to be a challenge, but it's something else that we're working on, as well as a champion balancing update. You know, a larger scale update, not just fixing Krond, but you know, pulling lower baseline power level characters up a bit, and maybe even bringing some of the higher baseline ones down a tiny bit. Try and get everybody a little bit closer together. You know, increase the viability of some of the other formations. You know, we're not promising a complete meta overhaul with it, but there will certainly be more viability is the intent. A lot of players ask us when we are leaving early access, or if we are leaving early access, and yes, we are, but there are some milestones we want to hit before we do that, and they relate to a lot of things that are unannounced so far. So I can say that it is going to happen, but I can't really say more. I know that's probably really unsatisfying. And then yes, there will be a new campaign, another campaign, in addition to Grand Tour of the Sword Coast and Tomb of Annihilation. You know, I don't have an ETA on it. I can't in any way talk about it, except to say that it'll happen. And on a similar note, players have been asking, you know, when Grand Tour of the Sword Coast and Tomb of Annihilation will end, or if they will end. And like, of course, the Tomb of Annihilation sourcebook has an end, so we will eventually get there. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't played it or watched it on Dice Camera Action, or watched it on Force Grey, or watched it on any other shows in which the Tomb of Annihilation campaign has been completed. But there is an end to it, and we will get there. But Grand Tour of the Sword Coast will keep going. So, yeah. Riz, I share your love for Ravenloft, but it's not something we're planning on at the moment. Let's see. Oh, and unlocking and gearing event champions outside of events. So this will become a reality at some point. We have plans in development, nothing about it to share. But yes, we are huge lovers of Curse of Strahd here in the office, and would love to do a Barovia campaign, I'm sure, at some point, but I don't know when or if that'll happen. So yeah, sorry to burst that bubble. But hey, we're playing it in our office campaign, so you know, trucking away. So maybe we'll get that done some point. Let's see. Falcon Grey, will the purchase familiars be purchasable in the future without potions? I don't know. That is the familiars are an ongoing discussion. Let's leave it at that. We intend for there to be more of them. We intend for there to be a variety of ways to get them. Obviously, the first pass at them, while they seemed like they were a pretty big hit, you know, I wouldn't say that we are 100% done with them, or that we are 100% happy with them. So there might be some changes, but any kind of more detail you want about that, we'll have to wait for the next time Justin is sitting beside me, because he's the only one who can give real definitive answers on what direction that's going. Downane, I think I figured out what the plushie and pie plate do. Basically make Strix use a melee attack. But what does the broom do? The broom makes her attack far more frequently. She hops on her broom and she just throws her fireballs more often. So it makes it terrible for Barrowan stacking, but great if you're using Tyrell instead, because she just hits more often, quite a bit more often. Yeah, that's really it. The plushie summons Waffles, obviously, and Waffles hits harder every attack. And then obviously the pie pan, enchanted with green flame blade, smokes players, and then the fire hits another target, so she gets kind of a splash melee attack instead. Baron Stromgard, will you be fixing the issue with last week's update that makes the champion bar slide around when you're trying to buy upgrades? We're trying to, and we've there are aspects of that that are not always consistent to replicate. But yes, will we be fixing it? Of course. I mean, it's not like we intended to add that feature to make your champion bar slide around to irritate you. It was, you know, complex systems and unintended consequences. It's just one of those things that happens. So think of it right now as an obnoxious feature that we hope to iron out. Mystery Block Gaming. I apologize for assailing you with questions, but I just wanted to know if I was right about the code problem you were having was a mistake in the layering. It wasn't. That was the first thing I checked. Now I'm using XSplit right now, and XSplit doesn't always have the most intuitive layout and design. But basically, I use the same layouts every time with the same thing, and the only thing I ever have to do is change the text file that it draws the code from. And so I'd already done that, so it should have been fine. But for some reason when I started, it disabled and would not show the text, the giveaway URL.txt is what it's called. It wouldn't show it on any of the screens, like when I was switching between the news screen or the one where I was chatting with Holly. So it's super obnoxious. And I fiddled with it a bunch at about the 1 hour mark when I finally got it working, and had to essentially create and relink it. Now this isn't an unusual problem to have with XSplit, because XSplit, at least in my experience, has done things like it'll disable one of the cameras for no discernible reason, and then you'll basically have to unplug it and plug it back in again, and then you have to reset all the settings and get it back to where it was. I don't know why it does it. Maybe it's a Windows 10 thing, maybe it's some other interaction. Who knows, but I blame XSplit because that's what I'm streaming from. At Your Games. Dylan, why are you excited about Familiars? Has it changed how you play? It has changed some of how I play. So I don't use them on my ultimate bar because I don't find it super helpful for them to be knocking off one ultimate every once in a while. What I have been doing, because I have 5 of them, is I put 4 of them on clicking and 1 of them on upgrading the click damage button. And then usually when I start a campaign now, that's what I do, is I just drag them into the clicking slots and 1 over to the click damage, and I just walk away. Because that will wall out pretty far, and then at which point I can probably buy every other member in my party when I check in again, buy them all, upgrade them all up, organize my formation, and yeah. Garwar, yeah, we've used OBS as well. XSplit has all the scenes that we can switch between. Like I can, change game views and do all kinds of different stuff, and it's helpful for that. But it just has some other unintended bugs that, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I use Familiars to just do the initial push, and then obviously not to my wall, but I'll come back and check in. Archimedes 94. Dylan, are you looking forward to the backlog of questions I have for you that I wasn't able to give you in the Q&A yesterday? Absolutely. I'm always looking forward to more questions. The funny thing, Archimedes, is that you and a couple other users tend to post walls of questions to the weekly Q&As on the subreddit, which is why those ones take a lot longer to answer, because I have to bounce questions off people in the office. Oh, excuse me. So much carbonated beverage before this. Yeah, so some of our, when I get 9-10 point questions, I can't answer them in a couple sentences, so they can take some time. But I do look forward to them, because you got to keep us on our toes. I mean, this is we do this 4-hour community, and so if you have something to say, that's how to do it. Davil23 wants to know what to do with the weekly stream code, and what you can do is this. So the stream code this week is atrashwich a trashwich chest. So you just go into the shop, you type it in. You can type it in with or without the hyphens. Boom, you get a chest, a gold Strix chest. I think I still have at least 1 blue left, so maybe I will. Oh, psyched out. Bounty contract. All right. Well, no epic shiny owlbear cloak for me. Anyway, so yeah, you just enter it in. That's what they're for. I'm just gonna level these guys up, and then I'll get back to the questions, because I don't want this to wipe. Usually my wall is somewhere between 250 and 300 on this one. I think it's humanoids in this campaign, but I could be wrong. I don't even have Minsk in there. What am I doing? I'm a noob. Just ignore me. Okay, that should be enough to ignore for a minute while I answer questions. All right. Baron Stromgard. There's been a lot of discussion about prior event champs being available somehow. Will previously offered golden epics for those champs also be made available again? That's a very good question that I don't have an answer for because we haven't reached that point yet. Our focus right now is on having a way to unlock event champions outside of events and gear them up. And there's been a lot of different discussions around it, and at this point I don't know if we have a finalized decision on what form that's going to take, so I can't really share anything about it except to say that it's in the works. C Midrifty, any plans to bug future heroes with DPS multipliers? Well, between Barrow and Strix, we've done a fair amount of work on that front. There's always a chance it'll happen again as we try out different designs. And certainly the next champion to come out has some interesting damage multipliers, so I guess we will see. But plans to bug them? Not so much. Plans to keep trying new stuff? Absolutely. Nomad84. Now that I'm trying to save up tens of thousands of gems for that sweet third familiar, I keep wishing for more ways to get gems. Any chance of changing or adding distractions to drop the occasional gem or two? Well, we will be changing or adding distractions. I don't know that they will ever be dropping gems. So I guess that's a fair point, and we shall see. Obviously, I'm just gonna shift in my seat because I am super uncomfortable. Finish the weekly stream with Dylan answering more questions. Yeah, right. That guy sucks. So we adjusted the rewards scheme across the game and refunded people quite a few gems based on that. Retroactively rewarded. I thought it was like 8,000 gems, or it was a fair number for people who had completed everything. And so, you know, like it's an ongoing discussion. You know, I don't know that we have anything that we're planning on it, but yeah. James Rhodes, is there a wild mage? Not yet. Trey Cunan. Since we have established that characters from Sigil can show up here, when are we going to get more? We have established that other characters can show up. It's true. I don't have an ETA on any characters specifically, except to say that we will be spoiling the next one next week. Let's see. Select Churl? What's the party composition of the Office game? Oh, okay. So our wonderful artist Kat is playing a water genasi cleric, and I believe it's light domain. I am playing a Shadarkai Hexblade warlock. Alexis is playing a human lore bard. Clive is playing a rock gnome druid, and Peter is playing a half-elf rogue, thief rogue. So that's our composition. It usually ends up being me tanking and getting knocked unconscious, and or maybe Cat tanking. And then both our druid and our bard have some healing spells in addition to our cleric, so we have healing totally covered. Although we didn't when we started. Yeah. Garwar, DAT tablet announcement hype. Yes. If that article is now out, then I think I am now allowed to talk about it. Let me just double check that it's linkable so I can link it in chat at least. There it is. So I'm going to link this in chat. People are going to be so confused at first, and then yes, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is making its way to tablets soon. We're going to do like a sort of closed alpha sign up something or other pretty quick here. So if you want to try it out, please do. Please sign up when we set that up. I think what's going to happen is that we will be putting out an announcement in game. So if you have the game open, you'll be able to click the link and follow the instructions and join us in play testing it. But yeah, the game is coming to tablet. So yes, thanks for reminding me of that, Garwar. That's totally something that, like, as a marketer I should be talking about anyways, but yeah. That will be, I believe, both iPad and Android tablets as well. If you have questions about other platforms or devices, I cannot answer any of them, except to say that Idle Champions is coming to iPad and Android tablets. That's literally all I could say. There's a little bit more in the article, obviously, including some sweet screenshots that Clive took of the T-Rex attacking a party. But yeah. Alrighty, Click Sand. Could we get attack priorities for champions? Example, closest enemy, furthest, least HP, etc. For example, it would be great if Strix could be set to only target enemies closest to the formations so that she always hits a bunch of enemies attacking the tank rather than wasting AoE on a single enemy elsewhere. I'll make a note about that because it is not the first time it has been asked. But so far our answer has been no. We'll see if someday that changes, but yeah, I don't know that we're planning to do that. Phonix48. Will you ever make the champion bar small enough to allow to show all 13 slots without having to scroll? And by the 13th slot, I assume you mean the click damage because we don't have 13 champion slots. We have toyed with a number of different ideas on how to approach our champion bar and our UI, but we don't have anything to share. So I will pass along your feedback about wanting to be able to fit it all on one screen and put it in the pile with all the other ones saying the exact same thing. I'm not making fun of you, it's just it comes up a lot. Xanoth Aveth. Any plans to fix the migraine-inducing flicker for the Pixie when lighting effects are disabled? Migraine-inducing? Oh, you mean like the lighting effect? You know what? I think that's like just an art asset. That's not something that had been considered. So I'll make a note, pass that along. Pro King here. Okay, somebody turned on the AC in this room and like it's getting cold. Like I'm like wondering where my other layers are and they're at my desk outside. Let's see, Pro King here. Will you add more tutorial and information about how everything works? So that's actually not a question that we've had a lot of late, but it's something that had a lot of, but is coming up more frequently to date as more players are trying the game. So I'll just make a note about it because if people are struggling to find out how things work, it means that we're not doing a good enough job of explaining it. So I'll just, yeah, hopefully we can get to that in some meaningful form relatively soon. Dre Cunin, did we ever find out the results of the character poll and was Deacon Scalesinger the most popular request? We do have the results. I don't know what from that I'm allowed to share, except I'm sure that it is okay for me to say that Deacon was unfortunately not the most popular request. The most popular request was Elminster, followed closely by Wolfgar. Yeah, but Deacon was on there. Elminster, Wolfgar, and then who was the next one after that? Artemis and Trary was the third one after that. And I believe after that it would have been Caddy Bree, but Caddy Bree being having some spelling that was challenging for players. The data is a little bit split up on that one, so yeah. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what out of that information we'll be able to share, but yeah, people voted for Elminster like crazy. So I guess you want a crazy uber powerful wizard who has no place in a formation like this yet. I mean, 12 slots? We need like slot 13, 14, 15 for him, right? Like it's Elminster. All right, who's next? Panda Pantalones. Dylan, do you have plans when you save the formation? The familiar spots will also be saved. It's tiring to drag and drop. It's been mentioned. There are technical reasons that it wipes that, the formations, the familiars with each thing, and why they're not saved, because some of the slots are not available, like the Ultimates bar is not available, for example. So, you know, we hear people requesting that feature, and Dave might do it, but that's all I can say. Mars of the Manor. It's been another couple of weeks, so how's your D&D campaign going? Let's see. In the office campaign, we actually had a split session today where, because we've split our party, and our rogue and druid were up to shenanigans, possibly robbing the Baron of Vallaki, while our warlock, cleric, and bard were taking part in a parade that has totally gone to shit, and there's a riot, and the Baron is dead, and I may or may not have inadvertently caused a whole lot of civilians to get killed through some collateral damage. So that's what's going on in the office campaign. It's a bit of a mess. We totally split the party because it's fun to see Midrifty. It's just, you know, it was an opportunity because the Baron didn't know that there was more of us to have some people go and scope out some stuff and possibly find some things we want, while the rest of us were engaged in a thing that totally exploded and has become some sort of riot/revolt. So yeah, that's what's going on for us. And then in my personal campaign, we journeyed from Kirsabal to Mabala to talk to the Oracle. That's where we are in that game, with some interesting stops along the way, including one where our Tiefling rogue basically convinced Nanny Poo Poo to kill us immediately, because she was super nice and hospitable at first. And then our Tiefling rogue's like, so do you eat people? And then she attacked us with her flesh golem, and we had to kill her. And we survived, actually, even though we were by the skin of our teeth, because that could have gone super sideways. So that's what's going on in my other one. Yeah. Select curls. That t-shirt rocks. Can we get them anywhere? Not yet, but we will hopefully have something about that to announce soon. And soon could be weeks, or maybe even months, unfortunately. But we are working on it. It's one of those work in progress things. When we developed Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms for Wizards of the Coast, they own everything. And so there's a process to go through in order to do merching. Because we don't make the merch, nor do we profit from it. Codename Entertainment, it's theirs. So like, there's a process to go through it. But yes, you will be able to. Cerulia, any dice rolling themes in the works? You know, we've talked a bit about this, and not in the works per se, but it's not something that will never happen, because it might happen. Yeah. Nameless King 95. Any chance Strix can get a timer for remaining transformation time? Yeah, I could pass that feedback along. Strix is not the only champion that does something like that. Like, there's also Dritz's ult. You know, well, really anybody where it's like a self buff for a certain amount of time or what have you. So yeah, we could put in some kind of indicator for that, maybe. I don't know. I'll pass it along and see what happens. Cerulia, achievements for killing crows, maybe. So Justin talked on stream end of last year, before our Christmas break, about the idea of having a 2 birds 1 stone achievement for managing to click 2 birds with one stroke. But yeah, so we might do something like that, because that would be hilarious. But I don't know if and when. Pro King here is asking to see the shirt, so I'm assuming it's visible like this, right? There I am. Plain black t-shirt with an Idle Champions logo. Iris the Beholder. All I had to do was get headless for you. Archimedes 94. Weaponized Mountain Gromma stream when? You know, when we do our tanking and healing update, I will totally try. Humple hack. Most bosses are blocking the HP bar of the tank. Any way to make that part of the UI more visible? So this is a very common bit of feedback that we haven't solved yet, because we are not sure how we want to do it. But basically, you are unable to both see enemy health bars when they're stacked, unable to see the tank health bar probably at all, because the boss is taking them up, and then they enrage and get bigger. And it's just one of those things where we haven't come up with a solution that we want to do yet. But yes, I will pass along that reminder, because it's something that we've talked about a number of times. Bignum, yes. So will there be any way to tell which element or which type of enemies you're facing, like a tooltip for which sort of enemy? This is one of our most common requests, and something that we're totally going to figure out at some point that we haven't done yet. So right now there's no way in-game to easily tell what type of enemy an enemy is, unless you've picked the correct favorite enemy for it and you see the little bar on them. We stick to the 5e core books for all of our races, etc. So just gonna kill this guy faster. So when all else fails, if you have access to it, you can check a monster manual or Volo's Guide to Monsters, or eventually Mordenkainen and Stoma Foes, to get the correct racial information. You know, we do want to add something to the game, but like something like a bestiary would be far too big of an undertaking for us to likely do. So we're not quite sure what shape that'll take. Magenta Shirt suggests that there's a health bar in the character gallery at the bottom of the interface. That's a potential solution. I'll pass it along. I don't know if that's the way we're going to do it, but yeah, it could be. Bill VR. How about free play adventures that might be more tailored to certain reward types? Thinking of some type of adventure that might have access to certain character loot chests, etc. That's a nice suggestion. I'll take it. Nomad84. Dylan, if you could play an Idle Champions clone from any other setting, thinking of a total conversion mod for PC from back in the day, what non-D&D universe would you want to idle click your way through? You said non-D&D because I would have said Dark Sun. Come on, man. Fantasy setting? Probably something. I don't know. Maybe something. I was gonna say Shadowrun, but like, I can't think of specific awesome characters from it. Just I love the setting. That's a tough one. What else? A non-D&D universe. That's the part that really gets me because it's like I think about that in those terms. Papa Smirk has pointed out that you can use D&D Beyond to check monster class types. You can do that as well. Yeah. What else? What else would I want to click through? I can't imagine they would ever do a Warcraft one, but that would be fun. You know, there's been some fantastic Final Fantasy games, and a lot of it has had a perspective oriented in a similar way, so it would work. That could be really cool. Yeah. But yeah, sorry, Dark Sun. All things Dark Sun. Pro King here. Question: can you explain how Barrowin stacks work in game? You know, I can. Silisa probably did a better job than I can already, though, in putting a guide on the subreddit. There's a Barrowin stacking guide on the subreddit, and it's also being linked in the official Idle Champions Discord, which is discord.gg/idlechampions. But basically, every time Barrowin attacks, Barrowin Swing Timer, all adjacent champions get a stack of Barrowin's buff. And each time it increases damage by, what is it right now? 2e4, what is that? 20,000% more damage right now. But it stacks multiplicatively, so if Strix gets 2 buffs, then it's to the power of 2. And then it stacks up to 4. And it gets exponentially very high. You know, in non-Frost Giant campaigns, you should be able to stack up pretty high and push well past your wall if you don't have Barrowin. But it requires a lot of active play. So, like right now, my Strix, her attack timer is 7.5 seconds, which, you know, will always get her at least 1 of the stack, but will frequently also get her 2 of the stack. But what I can do is I can drag her out of the formation with time left on her swing timer and wait for Barrowin to be about to attack again. So 3, 2, oh, I didn't time it right, but it's a 4-second, 3, 2, 1, and then it's like 3 stacks. And if you're really diligent, you can stack up to 4 that way, dragging the character down to the barn, dragging them on and off the formation. Or maybe even you save 2 different versions of the formation, one with your DPS character and one without, and you can just click on the swap every few seconds to swap them in and out. Whatever your choice. You can stack up to 4 Barrowin stacks and do crazy damage. Garowar, Idle Champions launch poster. You know, we haven't talked about that. We have some pretty awesome art that a local comic book artist named Ken Stacy did. He's done a lot of like Star Wars covers, and he did our there's a Minsk fighting a beholder image that's super awesome that is on postcards that oh, maybe we haven't shared those. Okay, well, anyways, I'm not sure what it'll look like, but it'll probably look awesome. Yinzer, will the Companions of the Hall members be implemented in the short term? Dritz's buff for them would be a lot more appealing with more than 2 recipients, and Wolfgar's a badass. Icewind Dale campaign arc. I can say, what can I say? I can't give an ETA on them. We are definitely going to add them. I can say that. Caddy Bree and Wolfgar will be added to this game. Ray Cool. So I'm guessing Makos wasn't supposed to wreck Frost Giants like he has been doing, because before the ult fix he was wrecking them. He wasn't supposed to be, but his Eldritch Blast was awesome. Well, it's Eldritch Blast. It should be awesome. But yes, we are now closer in line to it being more intended. Colette, can we see the tavern background from the very start of the stream again, please? It was nice seeing Arcan get a well-deserved spot on the wall. Oh, that was savage, Colette. And because that was savage, I will totally show it. And I will even move out of the way. See? Ooh, tavern. So one of our artists, Michelle, did this. Michelle was actually, I think, the first artist to join us on stream. End of last year sometime. But yeah, she drew this. Arcan on. Man, that's harsh. Don't let Joe Manganiello hear you say that. Jeez. But there's a number of Easter eggs in the background, and it's actually subtly animated, not hugely animated, but you know, you can see the fire burning behind me. Yeah. Anywho. Panda Pantalones, are there any plans to see how much HP an enemy has left? I'll just pass that along. Megisa, why are you using that formation? This is just the one I have been using. So obviously there isn't a tank in front because I'm trying to get Strix as buffed as possible. And so I'm trying to get as many buffs on her as possible. And these champions are nowhere near. But Stokey's, thanks to this gold, her debuff is actually quite good and her party buffing damage is alright. But yeah, most of these characters, these, you know, especially Ashara and Stokey, like they're there, these three, because they can be anywhere and buffing Strix. Makos is there so that he is buffing the most characters. Calliope is there because it's the only way they can. Barrowin and, you know, a lot of the other ones are where they have to be. So I'm just trying to max out Strix damage because Strix does AoE anyways. So this wall will get me past, this formation will get me past 200. Granted, my gear is crazy good at this point. It'll get me past 200, and I maxed out at 300. I couldn't, or 299. I couldn't get past 299. Though I'm sure some other players have, who are a little bit more diligent with their buff stacking and other stuff. So that's why I'm using this formation. It's a Strix DPS formation because Strix is Bay. Mars of the Manor. Did you check out my post on Reddit yesterday about finishing all epics, the game, as a free-to-play user, and is that information useful? I saw it. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I personally made a note of it, and I'll be passing it along to the team. It was weird thinking about the idea of completing the game because, like, there's always more stuff coming out, there's always more characters, but obviously you have unlocked and geared up all of the core characters through purely free-to-play, which I think is awesome because every once in a while we are accused that the game is pay to win. You know, so what you've posted proves definitively, I think, that it isn't. You know, I mean, we've never felt that it's a pay to win game because you're not winning anything, you're not playing against anybody. Yeah, I'm glad that you did it, Mars of the Manor. And yeah, I'll make a note here to pass that along to the team. Demran Silverblade. Is it possible to make an in-game library button next to other menu shop buttons, which we can easily access and check skills, stat upgrades for each champion? You want more info? I will pass it along. That's a UI thing. I'll pass it to Dave. Giant Dwarf follow-up. Any chance on giving champions higher attack priority, like Barrowin attacks before other champions if they have the same chance to attack? I don't know how that would interact with the system that we currently have, so I can't answer or speculate on that one. That would be another good one for Dave. I'll put a D there. Blue Phoenix 175. Any news on a complete and replay button for grinding free play? Well, there's no news in the sense that it's not something that we are working on, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. I will pass that along. Canuck Monkey 13. Oh, the suggestion I keep forgetting to ask about. Can the action bar meters be changed from blue on black to something more visible? I have a lot of trouble seeing them most of the time. Any lighter color would be better, I think. The action bar meters. Oh, yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. The swing timer. Visibility, huh? Okay, well, I'll make a note. Giant dwarf again. What does Iris think of Xanathar? Well, Iris doesn't think of Xanathar. But Xanathar is, I mean, isn't he kind of a super megalomaniac and a total jerk? You know, whether or not Iris agrees or disagrees with that, I don't know. Mars the Manor. That's a cool background. Can we get a link to the image for our own use? The tavern. So it's actually not an image. It's a movie file. I don't know if we will. Maybe. Obviously, we just created it for the game. I don't know that it's something that we're gonna share yet. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll think about it. Diogo Dino. Are there any plans to let us create our own characters in the game? There are not. Yeah. If you're hoping for an experience where you get to create your own amazing character from scratch and do a, you know, backgrounds, races, classes, multi-classes, etc., that's not something we're planning on doing. Mostly because, like, there are hundreds and hundreds of possible combinations, and the amount of resources it would take for us to build it with the way that we build our game is just crazy, crazy high and unlikely to ever happen. It doesn't mean it'll never be a possibility, but it's unlikely, and it's not in our plans right now. Syrian Blood Moon. Will other members of Dice Camera Action be added to the game? I cannot comment on that kind of question. GU Comics. Any chances of making Mist Champions RMT purchasable? RMT? Real money transaction? We haven't decided yet. Is the long and the short of that answer. So I can't I can't really talk about what our plans are for a way of unlocking champions outside of events, except to say that, like, we do want to make that possible. So, Cloud Sora, does the system prioritize the last 2 slots for epics? No, it's random. Augur Banelore, you mentioned a third option to use with your familiars. Could you explain that again? I only have 2 and keep them both in my click bar, but it would be nice to have options other than just the specials, and I thought I heard you comment that it existed. Yeah, you can also drag your familiars along the bottom, so you can have them here. Like, I have this one on click damage, so that the clickers are leveling up as much as they can, and I'm in the 170s, so I've totally plateaued on how effective that is. But you can also assign them to individual champions to level them, so I'll just pop this here for a second. And the Chewinga can take over leveling Strix. Plunk. So that's what he's doing. He is now leveling Strix. So you can drag them to individual champions, to the ultimates bar, to the clicking area, and the click damage. We've talked about doing some other things. We might, but we're not sure yet. So that's where we're at. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and use one of my huge potions of fire breath so that the click damage is insanely awesome for a really long time, and see how far this run will get before I run out of time in 15 minutes. Sir Windstake, can we have an option for familiars to upgrade the next available upgrade for any hero? Well, yeah, that's already there. Panda Pentalones. The events are coming back, right? So yes, tentatively. There is no 100% guarantee that every single individual event is going to come back in that exact form every year. However, the intent is that there will be repeat events, and we will certainly make it possible for you to unlock characters every year, so for free. So that's the best I can share. Events will return. Bill VR, any archer characters in the future? I've seen daggers, but no bows or crossbows yet. I might be a missed hero. I might have a missed out one. Yeah, so Zorbu has a heavy crossbow. Swap them over here. There's Zorbu. And one of our next upcoming champions has bow. Zapan 28. The 10 chest guaranteed epic thing, do epic non-gear cards count in that, or is the 10 chest epic only for gear? So the guaranteed epic equipment drop within every 10 chests does not include contracts. That's separate. So if you have not already opened an epic piece of equipment, hopefully an upgrade for you unless you're all epicked out, then you will get one within 10 chests. But yes, it doesn't count contracts. However, it is a separate timer. It's a separate for every type of chest. So if you've opened 5 Strix gold chests and 5 gold chests, you're not guaranteed a epic in either one of those. Not until you hit 10 gold chests or 10 gold Strix chests. So it's separate per type. Frezjor. Have you considered doing contributions to other games movies like Minsk? May I suggest a Gimli character that has to be tossed to do damage? Well, one of those is an IP that I can't talk about, and the other one's Minsk. I mean, I could talk about it, but like, it's a whole other thing. Yeah. But that's kind of funny. I like the idea of Minsk throwing Brunner to do damage. That would be funny. Nobody tosses a Brunner. Biganum, are you planning to change more viable formations depending on which characters you'd like to play with? At the moment, some are just better and some are considerably bad when you revamp the characters, as mentioned earlier. So the idea with doing a balancing pass is to bring them all more in line. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't going to be a mathematically better formation at any given point, because mathematically there probably will be. But to make formations close enough in viability that your wall will be roughly the same spot no matter what, that's the hope. And you know, and like balancing's hard. It's real hard. Justin's got a hard job. Any plans to make a champion buff click damage or interact with clickers in any way? I mean, without trying to talk about upcoming champions, I don't know that we are right now. We don't want clickers to be the be-all end-all. Because certainly, like, if you had an infinite supply of the previous generation of Fire Breath potions that the game launched with, you could have them running all the time and have one character out and your clickers just rip through content indefinitely. And which is why those had to go. But the potions that are in the game right now for Fire Breath, medium potion of Fire Breath, large potion of Fire Breath, etc., that do damage based off your click damage, make your clicking always viable if you're using them up to a point. Never dramatically outshining your party, but certainly like being comparable to your DPS characters later on. And that's super good. It's just a matter of, you know, knowing when you're willing to use up your finite resources to do that kind of pushing. All right. Yeah. Archimedes 94. Why does a small character have a heavy crossbow? He's at disadvantage. Because it's funny and awesome. That's it. It's funny and awesome. Justin designed him that way. Natural 20. In the future, can the familiars be set to click 1 or 2 selected ultimates rather than randomly clicking at all? I'll add that to our pile of suggestions for familiars, of which we got an enormous amount of feedback. So I'm not going to get into familiar feedback right now because I can't give you any answers for it. But you know, we're not done with them. Tap John Doe. Is there a plan to introduce synergies between certain champions, for instance, Brunner and Dritz? There is and there are. For example, right now, there already is a synergy between Brunner and Dritz, in that Dritz has... Oh, do I have to swap to him in order to show it? All right. Dritz has an upgrade, eventually, that is a Companions of the Hall focused upgrade. So. Oh, whoops. I'm just going to click on the thing and reset this. So yeah, there may be more. I don't know that we're going to do one for Force Grey, though, because there's a bajillion characters in Force Grey. Druid Greg, would it be possible to clicker to jump from one champion to another and level it up, possibly between formations? Again, we're not done with clickers, so there's always a chance that we'll update, change, and adjust the functionality of them. But I don't have anything to share about that right now. I mean, we only just got them out, and we have a pretty aggressive content schedule that we're working on to try and get some other stuff out too. So, yeah. Plus, you know, we have artists on vacation and stuff like that too, so we have to plan around that and some other things. So, let's just say maybe, and leave it at that. Looks like I'm out of questions. Huh. Time for a raffle, though. So speaking of this raffle, especially for those of you who maybe felt that our familiars were priced in a way that you didn't like, this raffle is for a Pseudo Dragon familiar pack, which comes with a bunch of stuff. You know, it comes with a bunch of potions. It comes with at least one, or it comes with a potion of polish or two as well to allow you to get some more shiny equipment cards. And then of course it comes with the Pseudo Dragon himself, itself, who is right here and is awesome. Yeah, so good luck to you. Give you a preemptive congratulations to whomever gets it. Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna keep trucking away here. I mean, we got a long time before this party runs into anything that's gonna slow it down. So, yeah, just gonna keep that going. Take another sip of my drink. All right, what do we got? Dirty Monkey, how many live kobolds can you fit in a bag of holding? That's a very good question. I'm not sure, but I bet if I Google search that right now, somebody will have thought it out already. Let's see. Wow, there's a Wikipedia article on bags of holding. I didn't even realize. I mean, in theory, you could put something. I mean, are they still going to be alive? Like, how does air work in there? Yeah. Let's see. How many cubic feet is a kobold? Also, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure a few. Do they have to be live? Yeah. Seaman Drifty wants to know if I had any words with folks about subreddit Flare. So the only person that I have to talk to about subreddit Flare really is me, and I haven't done anything about it because we haven't set it up. But it's something we've talked about. The volunteer subreddit moderator, Wistix, is working on his PhD this month and is like crazy super busy, and so he isn't really doing much. But enough people have requested different types of Flare for our subreddit that it's something that we're going to look into at some point when we have a moment. Just keep leveling characters. Just keep leveling characters. All right. What else do I have here? I don't think I have anything else right now. Live kobolds in a bag of holding. This is funny, actually. There's a whole wiki on it. A bag of holding is a fictional magical item in the Dungeons & Dragons role-playing game, capable of containing objects larger than its own size. Since its introduction, it has appeared in other media, and then it's got like a list of other things. It's like other games of media: Hackmaster, NetHack, Heretic, Discworld, Foldbox, the thing your aunt gave you, which you don't know what it is, 8-Bit Theater. Anyways, how many kobolds can you fit in a pocket dimension? Yeah, I imagine if you put a bunch of live kobolds in it, one of them would probably try to destroy the bag from the inside, and it, you know, I don't know, get sucked into a void. Who knows? I mean, it's really up to your DM's discretion, Dirty Monkey, and that's probably where we have to leave it. Let's see. Logro Desploqueado. How much time do I need to kill like you? I'm stuck in level 64 in this 2 hours of stream. You got to reset. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to link you the guide that's hanging out on the subreddit right now that we were just, Mars of the Manor was just talking about. Where is it? I finished Idle Champions. So I'm going to post this in here for you. Boom. Hello, fellow Dylan. Your in-game notification scared me. Well, Gunsmithy, we weren't intending to scare you. We were just trying to get more people to watch the stream. Watch the stream! Because here I am, talking to myself in a room. But technically talking to you, but really talking to myself in a room. So that's what's going on. Oh, I'm approaching the next frost. I'm the 200 Frost Giant coming up. How many distraction critters could a Zone 250 Frost Giant fight at once? I mean, I suppose it's technically there would be enough of them to eventually swarm. Like, if enough of them could like choke it, then it suffocates and dies. Maybe that would be a thing. But like in terms of just fighting, he just killed them all. It'd be, yeah. Frost Giants are no bullshit. They mess your stuff out. Purple Haze. What's the deal with the less distracted Torm's Blessing? Is it some sort of a joke? It seems useless. Well, it's not useless, but its usefulness could be argued. Distractions drop more gold. Yeah. So funny thing, if you don't have clickers and you're starting a new hard campaign or you're starting a new event and you're starting from square one, sometimes your characters will get overwhelmed unless you're there to click and kill them. You know, like when Tomb of Annihilation first started, like it was dangerous. It could, no, I'm just gonna, how about all the ults, because that'll get rid of this guy real fast. And so, you know, sometimes clicking on that crow to get enough gold to buy your next character is what saved you. So that's kind of where that becomes more useful. I'm not going to say that we're going to do a full-on Blessings Pass anytime soon, but we are going to add more blessings to the game at some point, and maybe Justin will review them at the same time, depending on whether or not they've all performed to his level of satisfaction. Biginum, are you going to change shiny items in any way? We have not discussed changing shiny items. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. That seems like a good... Oh no, we got one more. All right. Cursed Phoenix 94, congratulations. You have earned the final question of the stream. Have you ever thought about doing daily rewards? Example, daily quests or login bonuses? We have absolutely thought about it. We don't have anything to share about any kind of features related to anything like that right now. But it is on our radar. Certainly, you could see some interesting systems that might resemble that in our last title, Crusaders of the Lost Idols. So, yeah, it's always a possibility, never a guarantee. And then on that note, I'm going to switch over to the news view because I just love this tavern. It looks awesome. That is all the time we have for today. So thank you for sticking around, for watching the stream, for your questions, for suggestions, for asking Holly questions. Huge thank you to Holly for joining us on the stream this week. I know how busy she is. You know, if she's not prepping her stream, she's traveling. She's at PAX East right now. She did it from her hotel room. So kudos to Holly for that, and thank you so much. Thank you to Wizards of the Coast for hosting us. Waffle Talk is coming up next. I believe that's the schedule. Waffle Talk, and then obviously there's they're doing something a little bit different today. There's not going to be Trapped in the Birdcage at 5. There is going to be a rehosting of Penny Arcade's live Acquisitions Incorporated game from PAX East, starting at 5 p.m. And as Holly mentioned, it is a free-for-all battle royale between members of the A team, and Strix. So check that out at 5. Then, of course, Critical Role at 7. So we'll see you next week. Same Strix time, same Strix channel. And you can join us for our next Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm stream. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're all awesome. Peace, love. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to unlock and gear up Strix while you still can, because Event ends on Tuesday. Have a good one.